To the United stand, Manchester United 3, Brighton 1, and look, we have some positivity going into the international break, and I think that is the main thing as we go into this. I also want to start off by saying that I said on Thursday night that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I had a right go at his team selection on Thursday night, and I think in life when you can accept that you're wrong, then that is a very, very good thing to do. I had a right go. I said that team that he selected was way too risky. The most important result this week was to beat Brighton. He picked too many first-team players, and he was an idiot for doing it, basically. I didn't call him an idiot, but I was very angry with it. And I've got to say, whatever Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future at Manchester United is, and I'm not going to be one of those stupid plonkers going, Ole's at the wheel and Ole's back and Ole's the right man and let's be patient. We've beaten Brighton. Where we are in the league isn't good enough. Some of our performances aren't good enough. I still think we're playing a little bit too defensive. But we played well today, and he got it right. He got it right because Fred and McTominay played against Partizan, and they were better today for it. That continuity did work, and Martial and Rashford, it worked. So I want to say thumbs up to Ollie for that. He got it right. I was wrong, and I think a lot of other people were wrong. I also want to say that, you know, Manchester United with Anthony Martial in the team is a different proposition to the team that we saw without Anthony Martial. I think that we all go on about Paul Pogba, and the press are big about this as well. We all go on about Paul Pogba, and he says things like, I've got to get my Christmas tree up as well. I said if United win today, I was going to get the Christmas tree up. The wife's just in the loft at the moment. She's been there for ages. I hope she's all right. But the reality is that we talk about Paul Pogba and missing Paul Pogba, but the reality is Anthony Martial makes a difference to that team. Marcus Rashford as a number 9 is useless. He's not, with his back to goal and crosses coming into the box, he doesn't move enough. Marcus Rashford off the left-hand side, running head first towards goal, is a threat. And yeah, you know, it's a 50-50 thing with Rashford. You know, as I said, when he feeds himself, sometimes he hits himself in the mouth, sometimes he gets it in the eye. He's going to get better at that, Rashford. He missed some big chances today, and he knows he did, but he scored a good goal as well. Rashford scares people because of his pace when he's running at people. Anthony Martial could have had 4 or 5 assists today. He got 2. Didn't get a goal. I saw people at half-time and in the second half saying, do you think Martial's been crap today? And I was like, no, Martial's been superb today, because Martial brings so much to that team. He occupies other people. Dan James and Rashford get space because of Martial, because of his work, his build-up play, because of his movement. Martial this season has become a number 9 that we didn't have. He's so intelligent. He's so selfless as well. Both occasions, both assists, you watch them back on Match of the Day. The one to Pereira, he's got space. He could get a shot off himself. He gives it to Pereira because he's in a better position. The Rashford assist is even better because he hasn't got time to think. Some strikers would try and shoot from a ridiculous angle. His first instinct is to find Rashford to make it 3-1. And that goal's critical because we're 2-0 up at half-time. We come out for 10-15 minutes with the same United as ever. Lazy. We look like we've been in at half-time, all checking each other's phones, and we think the game's over. We concede a really bad goal. Brighton make it 2-1. They're really confident. You think, oh, this is going to go the way it's always been going this season. And what do? We go up the other end. We get that third goal. Watch Martial's assist. He could have shot himself. No way. Selfless. He's played brilliantly today, Martial. He's in the debate for man of the match. And it's going to be a big debate about man of the match. And I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements when I do the player ratings. But before I do that, I also want to say, Ashley Young, let's get him a Caribbean tour. If he wants to go somewhere a bit colder, get him on a Scandinavian cruise, You're done, mate. You're done. Bye. Forget about it. Great servant, whatever. We don't need Ashley Young anymore. Brandon Williams was superb today. When Luke Shaw comes back, we've got left back on lockdown. The argument about who plays at left back is open. People are already saying Brandon Williams. Some people say stick with Shaw. The reality is I don't care. We've got 2 really good left backs there. Let them fight it out. The problem's always been Luke Shaw gets injured. Ashley Young comes into the team. No, Brandon Williams was superb today. I know he had the red card VAR review. It was never a red card. He got the ball first. And for a player of his inexperience and his age, I think he's been superb since he came in. And he's a real find. And he is a real show of what the youth setup can be. Because I think he's got a fantastic future. I think Twansebi's got a fantastic future. I think McTominay's getting better and better. I think Rashford's got a great future as well. So, you know, the future's bright. And Manchester United are looking good. How good are we, though? Because everyone's going to say you're being ultra positive here. And on Friday night, you had a right moan. So I don't want to be I never want to be like I've just said there. I accept I got it wrong about the team that Ollie picked on Thursday, and Ollie got it right on this occasion. I think he's got a lot wrong, and we've got a lot right as fans. But on Friday night, I had a really big moan. I had a right moan. I said, I'm almost done with Manchester United. I'm fed up of it. And what pushed me over the edge was Herrera saying that we're run like a business and not a football club, effectively. And he's right. And what I want to say here tonight is I'm really pleased that United have won. We've got an international break now. We've got loads of content planned around Manchester United and the future. So make sure you're watching and subscribing for that. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to do a lot of call-ins. But I'm really happy with United tonight. I'm really happy with the team. I'm really happy with Ollie for that win today. But there's a couple of things I would say. One, I've always said, well, have we still got Draculas as our owners who suck the blood out of our club? Yeah, they're still there. Is Woodward still incompetent? Of course he is, yeah. Have we still got players that are inconsistent? Well, yeah. They played well today and they were shit against Bournemouth. So we've still got inconsistent players. I think United at the moment are a mid-table club. We're slightly better than a mid-table club. We are not a top 6 club. We are around sort of 8th, 9th, I think, and we're 7th today, so that's perfect. We can beat teams, we can lose to teams, and until we stop losing to teams and start winning more consistency, we are where we deserve to be. I think that the first 12 games have shown where we deserve to be. We are closer to the relegation zone than we are to the top 4, and we're a good team when a team plays football against us, and we struggle when a team tries to close us down. We've got a lot to learn. Whether Ollie's going to be the right man or not, I don't know. He survived today. We go into some tough games before Christmas. Let's wait and see. We go into it with some optimism. I think it's a real shame, as I said on the watch-along, that we've won today. We've probably played the best we've played at home all season. I think that was better than Chelsea, to be honest. And now we've got an international break. And then we've got a tough game after the international break against Sheffield United. I really wish we had Sheffield United next week to take some momentum into it. But that's football. That's the way it is. But we can't reinvent the wheel with this. I don't think Ollie can even get back on the bus to be at the wheel because we've still got bad owners, we've still got bad decisions being made, and we're still going to make mistakes. But we take the positive tonight, and I think that's really important that we do take the positive because we've had so many negatives going on. On Brighton, I'm confused by Brighton. A lot of people said to me, "You're going to get exposed by Brighton because you say Brighton are crap." They're a good team. They've played really well this season. You'll see a team that comes and dominates the ball and really causes you problems. And I've always thought about, and I've not watched Brighton this season, but my perception of Brighton is they'll be relegated. They're not a good team. And what I saw of Brighton today, I thought, how have they been doing so well in the league? I thought Brighton were atrocious. Loads of indiscipline. 4 yellow cards in the first half. They played really high up the pitch. I mean, look, anybody by now knows against United, don't leave space in behind. They've got pace. And Brighton absolutely came to Old Trafford thinking they were going to win and played on the front foot. That's either really brave or really stupid. And that played perfectly into our hands because look at that game again. We could have won it 8-9-1. So how can Brighton be a good team? They played a really bad game. They played a really tactically stupid game. And United benefited from it. And we've had a right confidence boost from that. Not for the players, not just for Ollie, not just for the club, for the fans as well. We go into a 2-week break where I think a lot of us thought, bloody hell, we're going to be going into that thinking, oh God, what's going on? And actually, we've got a bit of positivity. We actually can think, oh, maybe we can take that into Sheffield United. Maybe we can certainly take it into Villa. Maybe we can get another 6 points in the next 2 games and start building ourselves into the top 6. That's what we've got to do. But I thought they were naive, and Brighton never travel well, says Tony. I thought Brighton were poor. I'm looking forward to that Sheffield United game though because they've been consistently good as well. So maybe they will drop off as well. But let's do the player ratings as well. I thought Brighton's style suited us perfectly. They do play a high press and they leave space in behind. So if you bypass the press, it works really, really well. And I thought that everything that United did worked well for us today. And we 3-1 was an injustice. I think it should have been at least 5 or 6. Rashford should have had a hat-trick. Talking of which, let's do the player ratings. So I thought David De Gea today had very little to do, so you'd struggle to give him more than a 6. And I think, I always think when a goalkeeper gets a 6, that shows you've had a good game because when a goalkeepers are getting an 8 or 9, that shows they've had loads of work to do. So a 6 for me is the perfect score for De Gea. You don't want him having a below than average, because that means he made a mistake. If he's got 7 or 8, that means he's been worked well. So 6 is always the perfect score for a goalkeeper. I think Romero got that on Thursday. Wan-Bissaka, I give him a 7. This is what pleased me today about the game, is that Wan-Bissaka is normally one of our better players. Again, I don't think he had a lot to do. I thought he did his job very, very competently. I think I'm going to give Lindelof a 6 because I thought that, and I'm actually, you know what? I think, you should always you shouldn't always be blinded by positivity. I think Maguire and Lindelof get an average 6, and you know why? Brighton did sod all. Not because our defence was good, but the midfield was good. But the reason I'm not going to give Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire a 7, like I did Wan-Bissaka, is because why was Andreas Pereira marking Dunk on that corner? We've got 2 centre-backs who should be going and winning that ball. He's dead centre of goal. I think the centre-backs have got to take responsibility for organising that defence. So, and that, that was a defensive error that made it 2-1, and the momentum could have gone to Brighton, and that could have ended in a draw. It's only because of our midfield and attack that we took that away from them again and made it 3-1. So I think Maguire and Lindelof, if I was Ollie, I'd be having a word with them tonight and saying, good result, but what the hell was going on with that goal? Williams is an 8 for me. I thought he was superb for a young lad to come into the team and do the job he did. And he got exposed himself. He had a lot of one-on-ones going forward and defensively, and he dealt with it. I thought he was superb for his age and everything like that. I'd give him an 8. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. A lot of people want to give Harry Maguire a 7. You could maybe I think I nearly did give Maguire a 7, but realistically, he's the best player in the air. He's got to be organising his defence. And at 2-1, that could have, I know it didn't, but that could have been letting them back in the game. If we want to really progress as a team, we've got to be harsh on the mistakes so that they don't happen again. That was poor marking, and I'm going to give him a 6. If you gave him a 7, I understand. Fred, for me, was a 9. He will be a contender for man of the match. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Every goal, he made a key pass in. He put the cross in for Maguire. For the first goal, he did a long ball into the box that led to the goal for Pereira when Martial assisted him. And the third goal, it was another long ball forward from him. His best performance in a United shirt. The first time we've looked at him and thought he could be a £50 million player. He could work. And it's interesting with Fred. If you had the patience to go back to Wolves, I think in March, I think we lost 2-1. He made a mistake, and then he got dropped in April. We said at the time, and a lot of you said it, we'll never know if Fred's good enough until we play him for 10 games in a row. You can't just play him a couple of games, then drop him and half an hour here and there. He's got to play 10 games in a row. And the positive of the Pogba injury is that it's forced us to play Fred every week. And what we're seeing with Fred and McTominay is the more they play, the better they get. This has been proven in football. Some players need a run of games to find out what they're all about. I think with Pereira, we're still struggling to find out. But with McTominay and Fred, the more they're playing games, the better they are getting. And that was Fred's brilliant game today. So smash a like if you thought Fred was fantastic today. I thought he was superb, and I think he needs applauding for it. I think he's had a lot of stick, and I thought he was fantastic. I can't give McTominay a 9 because he didn't get involved in the goals as much as Fred did. But I thought he was an 8. I thought McTominay played really well. And I was really impressed with McTominay because he took a bad knock on his ankle on Thursday. He played on Thursday, and then he played 90 minutes again today. And he was very energetic. And what I like about McTominay and Fred, and what I dislike about Matic, is that energy, that tenacity. It's so important in the modern game. And I think we are struggling as a club in general. I'm not talking about Fred and McTominay here. I think as a club in general, what are we? We're not a relegation team. Anybody who said that, I said it at the time when we were losing. We're not a relegation team. We're a mid-table team, maybe, or are we a top 6? Are we a 6th, 5th, 7th team? That's what we're waiting to find out. Today's result probably shows we're a mid-table team. You lose to Bournemouth, you beat Brighton. You beat Norwich, you lose to Newcastle. You draw against the big teams when they come to your place. Arsenal, Liverpool. At the moment, we're playing like a mid-table team until we get the consistency. But I do think and hope that we have got the potential to start moving up to around 6th or 7th, and then we need to buy players, whoever the manager is. That's what needs to happen. Whether McTominay and Fred are good enough to be top 6, top 4 players, I don't know. It's too early. But they're definitely good enough to be mid-table teams, and they showed that today. which is an improvement because people were calling Fred a flop. And I said that McTominay should be playing for Preston a year ago. So that's an improvement. And if they keep improving from a year ago, maybe they will be top 4 players in a year. And that's what you want to buy into, isn't it? So Pereira for me was a 7, quite simply because he got the goal. I think the jury's still out on Pereira, but I agree with Pereira playing today. I didn't want to see Lingard start. I think he's rubbish. And I thought Mata played on Thursday, so he was too tired. Pereira shoots too much. Pereira gets excited too much. And I think when Martial was talking to him after the game on Thursday and Rashford and Martial were talking to him before the game, I pretty much guarantee they're saying, calm down, think about the space. And I think he does get a bit overexcited at times, Pereira. The jury's out on Pereira, but the jury was out on Fred and McTominay a few weeks ago. Can Pereira get better? I agree with picking him. I don't think he had a great game. I thought he'd had an okay game, but I'll give him a 7 because he got the goal. Rashford an 8. I know it's harsh to give Rashford. Some would say look at his misses, but he's such a threat. Rashford's so much better off the left-hand side. Rashford's been playing awful for 8 months, and over the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been so much better. Since Martial's been back and he's been on the left-hand side, he's been so much better, and I thought he was good today. And his finish was good. There was a lot of Brighton players in the way, and he finished it well. He then went on to miss 2 easier chances, but that's Marcus Rashford. Paul Scholes said it. He's a scorer of great goals. He's not a great goal scorer. He's a good player. He can get better, and I would give him an 8 today. Dan James, I'm going to give an 8. And the only reason Dan James doesn't get a 9 is because some people didn't finish his bloody assists. He could have had 3 assists. You know, he put so many good balls in. Dan James, he was brilliant today. But I can't put Dan James into the same category as the 2 players that are going to get a 9. So Dan James was an 8. He would have got a 9 if he'd scored or he got an assist, but he was fantastic. Some people in the first half said Dan James was bad. How many yellow cards did he get against him? How many fouls did he get against him? How many problems did he cause? And let's not forget, Dan James is better off the left than the right. He's playing out of position because we've got to do that to get Rashford in the team. Dan James is better off the left. He's doing that off the right. So Dan James is fantastic. I'll give him an 8. And Martial 9. I thought 2 assists from Martial, unselfish assists. Just watch him back on Match of the Day 2 tonight. He could shoot from both of his assists, and a lot of people would. Rashford would, but Martial has got the intelligence and awareness and selflessness to play somebody else in. That's his first thought. Very, very, very good player, Martial, and he's the difference. He is why United are a better team, because we've got somebody who can play the number 9 position. We're not having to play Lingard from the start. He's making a massive amount of difference. And also, he's making the runs that Fred saw today. He's making the runs that McTominay is seeing, that Rashford wasn't doing. So Martial's been superb for us. To me, if Martial was your man of the match, smash a like on the video. If Fred was man of the match, smash a like on the video. I thought they were both fantastic. And to be honest with you, I've never done this. I'm going to give them both man of the match because I don't want to discriminate against either. I thought in their own way, they won us the game today. Fred was involved in every goal. Martial got 2 assists. They worked so hard for the team. I thought they were absolutely superb, and they get man of the match. And the great thing is, you could also make an argument for Williams being man of the match. You could also make an argument for McTominay being man of the match. For James, definitely you could make an argument for being man of the match. So how long is it since we've had that argument? Of course, you've got to sober it up and say that it's Brighton. You've got to say we lost to Bournemouth last week. We are beating a mid-table team. We've not just gone and dominated Man City. You know, there are levels to that performance. We've beaten a team that will ultimately be mid to bottom of the league, and we've beaten them 3-1 at home. We lost to Bournemouth last week, who will be a mid-table team. We haven't rebuilt Rome. We're not even on the road to Rome. We are a club in limbo. We are run by idiots. We have owners who are sucking us dry. We are going to have problems ahead. But when we have some positivity, we have to try and cling on to it. Hey, Mark, I think Pereira can only get better. He doesn't look great now, but he has potential and he's good technically, says Alex S. Thanks for the contribution, mate. But yeah, I think, look, it's so important when you go into an international break that you have something positive to cling on to, because it can be a very long international break, especially this one. People want to start getting excited about Christmas. You want to start thinking, when am I putting my Christmas tree up? You don't want to be sat there thinking United are absolutely atrocious, I'm fed up and everything like that. And there's so much we've got planned on the international break, content-wise, about United, about the long term, that I don't want to get lost in the short term. The short term is the fact that we've got a good result and we can take something from that, and that is very, very important. But there are bigger issues at Manchester United, of course there is, and I think even if you had Jurgen Klopp in charge, you would still see this club fail because of who we've got in charge of the club and who are making the decisions. And when Ander Herrera comes out and says that club is not run like a football club, that is very, very worrying, despite the fact that we've beaten Brighton. Ollie did amazing, but Mark will be toxic about United, says High Elf Legolas. Well, you go and watch the last 20 minutes, mate. You're totally wrong. I really enjoy that people keep telling me, are you going to be Ollie in now, when I've never been Ollie out? But there you go. I just speak honestly about the fact that it's unacceptable where this club is. And I'll stand by that now. It's unacceptable. What I think is unacceptable as well is people like you who want to celebrate the performance today like we're going to be going somewhere. I'll celebrate the performance because we won, but we've still got the same ineptitude in the club. We've still got the Glazers in charge. We've still got Woodward in charge. These people are driving this club into the ground. And beating Brighton doesn't change that, because we're never going to be in the top four with those people in charge. We're not good enough to go and beat Chelsea, Leicester, Man City, Liverpool consistently. So, we're still a club miles from where we need to be. But that is a good performance today. Joseph B says, I saw glimpses of a coherent team today. Not the finished product, but I was encouraged. Lots to work on, but that was at times exciting and positives. We need to do it week in, week out, Joseph, and we need to do it against better teams. That's what we need to do. Nick P, the biggest thing I take from the last few weeks aren't that mini partnerships are starting to blossom on the field. Rashi, Martial, Fred, McMayo. If we get Pogba back and we play him in the Pereira position, I think we'll be a much better team. Josh Waring, we need to feature Martial with his solo goals and assists. I appreciate Rashford's efforts, but he shoots too often and he should be slotting in Martial for sitters. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Mike Thomas, Mark, if the club continues to fall and lose value, do you think that will eventually lead to the board spend more to protect their investment? I don't know, Matthew. We'll be talking about that on the international break. Matthew Bolt, Martial just solidified his position. The awareness and creativity is what we've been missing. Rashford without Martial is surprisingly average. Spot on. Bottom line, job done. Some positives. Martial or Fred, man of the match. Shout out to Williams. Sure has competition, says Sean Finity. Martial should be on short range free kicks, says Dear Force. T. Bollard, thanks for the contribution. Lingard, 416 minutes, no goals, no assists, 5 shots, 2 missed, 3 blocks, says Adam Ollies. Martial, man of the match. If he had Aguero to assist, it would be 8-1, says T. Ballard. Ollie did amazing today, but watch you be late, toxic later, says High Alpha Legolas. Well, you're wrong again. You've got some weird... Who is this High Alpha Legolas? You're fucking weirdo, mate. You're weird. Why are we Brexit FC? Man United best players are French, says 672 Anthony. And Mark, I just want to say thank you to you and all the United Stand team for great content you produce. Well, thank you to all of you lot. And you know what? I apologise when we lost to Bournemouth, even though it wasn't my job to apologise, because you won't get it from the club. And I'm just really pleased for all you lot that you can go and watch Liverpool against Man City now, knowing United are 7th in the league. We're a long way from where we need to be, but we're not as bad as we think we are, and we're not in as bad a position as we thought we could be. And ultimately, we love Manchester United Football Club, and that is the most important thing, isn't it? So please smash a like on the video. Martial or Fred, man of the match, smash a like. The thought of Pogba playing in a rejuvenated team as a number 10, it's exciting. That second half is what we need 90% of the remaining games, says Reynolds V. And I tell you what, we had a second half where we played well for once. We've had a second half where we played well. Thanks everyone for watching. I must just say, that's football. I'll be live in 5 minutes watching Liverpool versus Man City. Watch along. Liverpool versus Man City. I'll be live on there. Rahul V says, no disrespect to Ollie, but a great manager needs to adapt formation to suit players in the team. Ollie wants to play with a number 10, but current players suit 2 box-to-box midfielders. I still don't like the formation, Rahul, if I'm absolutely honest. I liked the one he had at the start with 1 holding midfielder, but we need a number 10 if we're going to play with a number 10. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Liverpool versus Man City on That's Football. Just type That's Football in. You'll see the streams open in the live comments. I'll see you over there in 5 minutes. Just going to have a drink of water, change the screen, and we'll get live. See you in a moment.